All right, guys, so now that we have discussed some of the conceptual approaches to attacking the leg drag from bottom, some of the controls, the principles, leg entanglements, etc., we are now going to move directly into applying them from specific guards. So that is what this volume, I almost said instructional, that is what this volume is going to be devoted to. So without further ado, I'll stop talking. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so the first technique is going to be a basic leg drag entry from the single leg X. Now, if you're not familiar with some of these guard positions, this is going to be a little bit more challenging for you. I'm assuming that some of you are familiar with most of them, if not all of them, or just a couple, because I'm not going to be discussing the entries to these positions. I'm not going to be discussing the control to all of these positions. A lot of that stuff is actually on my YouTube if you want to see it, because then this instruction will be like 38 hours long. I'm just going to be going straight from the position. So, assuming we're in the single leg X. So I have my opponent in the single leg X position. So very quickly, the single leg X is when I'm underneath my opponent. Ideally, I want his leg just about at my armpit. Okay, I want my knee on the inside of his knee, and I want my left leg to come out and around to his hip. Okay, I use my left leg, the heel, the pressure on my heel to elevate my hips as much as possible, because I want him to feel like he's got a band with like 80 pounds attached to him. So that's the purpose of lifting my hip. So watch as I elevate my hip. Okay, secondary to elevating my hip, I clamp my knees together. Now tie is bearing much more weight. The difference between this and this is, it's a world of difference, and it's enormous. So the grip variations that you can use to control the single leg X are the ankle lock variation, the traditional one, or grab your hamstring. So that's my small elaboration on the position if you're not familiar with it. So we're here. Now, the basic sweep variation is that if I can, I want to control his leg. And once I control his leg, I want to use my heel to lift my hip just a little bit higher, and I want to turn his knee to the outside. Whenever I demonstrate this, I always have to show the off-balancing mechanism is very similar, put your leg forward, to a low single leg, right? So low single in traditional wrestling is I'm here, my head's below the knee line, I push my head, and I bring him down this way, right? So we're just turning his knee out. That's what we're trying to accomplish with our single leg X. So again, we're here and here. So if I'm able to grab this pant, great. If I'm not, it's okay. I'm just going to, maybe I use my hand to assist me in elevating my hip, and I'm going to turn this way. Okay, I'm able to knock him down. Now, very quickly, if I can, I want to scoop my hip in just a little bit. Now I'm going to use my right hand to grab through, right, pummel my leg through my arm, pardon me, and I bring his leg across. Okay? Now, once I'm here, I want to hook the far leg. If you notice here, I'm hooking this near side leg. I'm now going to hook the far leg. Now I'm going to come up to my elbow. Make sure that you're clamped, and if he tries to stand back up, I'm able to keep pushing him back. Okay? Now I'm going to come up to my hand, and at this point, I need to do a very quick switch into the leg drag. So look, I lift my hip with my knee, draw my left leg back, and I force the staple leg drag. So let's go back. So again, we're here in the single leg X. Underneath my opponent, his ankle's at my armpit. Left leg comes around, elevates the hip. Knees pinched together. Okay? Off-balancing mechanism is to give an outward knee rotation to tie. I turn his knee. He falls. Ideally, I want to come through, and I want to swim here. Okay? I'll change the angle so you can see. Once I swim here, I hook the far leg. I'm very tight, guys. I cannot emphasize enough that you need to be tight. Okay? If he tries to get up, I need to be able to push him. Okay? Come to the hand. Now I need to very quickly, if you need to put your toes on the floor to get up, that's fine. If you're able to do it by keeping your knee here, that's even better. I draw my left leg back. I extend. And I get the leg drag. So let's change the angle this way. So again, we're here. Ankle at the armpit. Heel on. Lift as high as possible. Off balance. Boom. I'm here. Now look, I'm going to turn. Swim. I'm going slow for the sake of demonstration. I keep everything tight. The reason that I like to turn and swim, there's a method to the madness as opposed to just pull his foot through, is because when I turn and swim, I allow myself the opportunity, if it's no-gi, to, if I need to bail, attack the inside heel hook. If it's gi and I want to attack a footlock, I can always come up and start to attack the footlock here, which is a very powerful footlock. So I'm giving myself a plan B and C, but plan A is the leg drag. So I get to here, I keep tight. Guys, knees pinched crazy tight, hooking the far leg so he can't get up. He tries to get up. I can keep him down, okay? It's very difficult for him to get up, especially if I have his foot. Come to the hand, lift the hip, draw the knee out, and drive. Boom. And I get to the staple leg drag. Alright guys, so we just saw a basic entry to the leg drag from the single leg X. Now we're going to look at a couple variations from the X guard. The leg drag is a little bit easier to find from a full X guard. So one of my favorite positions is the X guard. So let's get into it. So I have my opponent in the X guard. First will be our most basic and easiest. Again, I'm not going over too much of the principles from here, but just to discuss a little bit, I want to make sure my opponent's foot and ankle are on my shoulder. That's very important. I see a lot of people do X guard like this. You don't want his ankle or shin on your bicep because then he can turn his knee in much easier. It's not good. So I want his foot here. I also want to make sure that I'm pulling his knee out and here like this. I want to make sure he tries to put his knee on my chest. Has to be hard. Okay? Now, secondary to that, this foot, my left foot, my toes are pointing in. So left foot, in this case, toes are pointing in. Okay, and I'm hooking here. Right foot, toes are pointing out. Okay, like an X. Now, our leg drag is going to come from our basic tripod sweep. So what's our tripod sweep? It's one of the easiest sweeps from X guard and super high percentage. I extend him, drop this foot. I'm going to kick tie that way as I turn his knee out. So this leg is going to kick this way. This one's going to kick this way. So like this. And then this is going to push his knee out. Okay? Now, very important here. I keep my X hooks. You guys can imagine why. I also want to keep everything tight here. We're going to change the angle in a second. I want to keep a gable grip and my X hooks. Because if he tries to run away, I want to be stuck to him. Now, I'm going to come behind with my right hand. Grab the top of his toes. Bring them inside. Pass the leg across, guys. We just did step one of our leg drag. His leg came across. Now I start to come to the elbow. Left leg comes out. We find the leg drag. Let's turn this way. So again, we're here in the X guard, right? We're fighting him. We extend him, push his knee out. A lot of people forget with this tripod sweep to turn that knee out. It's a really big game changer. I keep my hooks sticky. If I want, I can shorten my hooks. Okay, my left knee is on the floor. Okay, now look. I bring his leg here, grabbing the top of the toes, follow it through. Bonus points, there's a great foot lock from here. Okay, now look, I'm going to start to grab his pants, come to my elbow, undo my left leg, extend, leg drag staple. One more time. It may seem like this is a little difficult, but you'd be surprised. There's a lot of control here. So extend, trip, shorten my hooks, grab the foot, bring it inside, grab the knee. And again, let me reiterate, if you just create a scramble, that's fine. As long as I get this and I start to get up and he starts to get up, I'm still in a great position. I might not have passed, but now he's going to freak out to turn to his hip. And now I can start to pass different ways. So I create that scramble where I'm the one dictating the pace. All right, guys, so we just saw some variations on how we get to the leg drag from the X guard to single leg X that are a little more basic. Let's go a little bit more advanced and let's discuss attacking the leg drag from the X guard with moving his leg. So what I mean by moving his leg is if we're in the X guard, I want to extend him forward a little bit. And I almost want to get this leg off the mat. Okay? Now, what I want to do is I want to move this leg to my opposite shoulder. Okay? So now I moved his leg to the opposite shoulder. Now, my left hand is going to grab as high up as I can. If I can grab his belt, that's amazing. If I can't, I just grab some material and pull. Now I'm going to do the same tripod sweep. Okay? And now look, I'm in this position. I'm going to swim over, extend, and come up with the leg drag. One more time. We have the X guard. How do we get this leg to come over to the other side? I've seen some people try to like squeeze their way under. Just extend him a lot. Extend him. Now you can move the leg. Okay, naturally he's going to try to get base and come back. That's when I pull down on this, keeping his leg tight, dropping mine, sweep, and I can come right up. Okay, but what do I have to do? Swim. Let's change the angle. So again, don't try to do this, guys. It's not going to be good. Okay, extend him and bring the leg to the other side. So boom, extend. Leg comes here. Okay, now guys, you got to move quick. So as soon as you get here, if you can grab the sleeve, that's great. I've seen variations. If you can grab this, it's fine. Just pull down, trip, extend, start to come up. Guys, right in this position, we can use that X clamp that we talked about, or we can just stay here. If he tries to get up, we have our toes, so it's going to be very hard. Now we swim, start to come up, and we get the leg drag staple. All right, guys, so now we've seen a couple variations of the leg drag from X guard. We're going to get into another one that's a little bit more advanced with some use of the lapel. So let's just get right into it. So we're in X guard. Okay, we're here. And I'm going to start to use his lapel. Not just yet. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to extend him. Okay, extend him enough that this foot is off. And I'm going to bring his foot to the opposite shoulder. Once I do so, I want to grab the lapel. I want to come through here. Okay, and then look, once I have his lapel, I'm just pulling him down by his lapel to make it easier for me to load him. Okay, once I load him with the lapel, most of his weight is coming towards me. Okay, one thing that a lot of people ask me that I do want to address, which is going to be, we're going to talk about it, is what if my opponent is able to kick that way? Yes, so if my opponent kicks either way, left foot or right foot, all he's doing is exposing his back. So if he does kick, I just come here, I start to pull the belt, I start to extend, I start to attack his back. That's something that you should understand. He did a big mistake by letting you get there. But if we're able to get here and here, and we're able to control, right? We're just gonna tripod sweep, bring him back, and then right away, I'm gonna start to get up. Good. Let's change the angle. So again, we're here. We got the leg to the opposite side. If you can find his far lapel, as long as you were holding, that's great too. It's going to be hard to get it over, but you're turning his body. The whole point is to turn his body so that it's easy to sweep him. Because once I turn his body, I have all his weight on me. I can sweep him much easier. We don't want him to just be moving around freely. So let's go back. So anything you can grab, like in the last technique, we were just grabbing the edge of the lapel here. But if we can, we want to get way up on the lapel. Keep it really tight. Extend tie, trip tie, start to come up with it, start to swim, and start to find our staple leg drag position. So again, guys, these are not easy techniques, but they're very, very useful techniques, and they're different and they work really well. All right, guys, now we've looked at a bunch of different leg drag entries from X guard, single leg X. We're going to switch to De La Riva. So De La Riva is probably the best guard to get to the leg drag from. So let's just get right into it. So one of the best attacks from De La Riva is the baby bolo. So I've seen this technique taught so much. This is one technique that I do have confidence in teaching because I have hit it in competitions at least 5-6 times at high levels. But I see a lot of people teach it with the sleeve. And what the baby bolo is the one where you start to get to a deep De La Riva, you scoot back, switch to here. Now, let's go back. I personally don't ever hit it with the sleeve, and I hit it more than I know a lot of people do. So Why don't I hit it with the sleeve? The sleeve is a little bit difficult to get, and oftentimes he might already have our collar or something. Exactly. So I just grab his cross collar. The first thing I do when attacking this position is I extend my opponent. Okay? Now, all you need to do in order to get this position is rather than like lift your hips super high, you can do it that way, for sure. But I'm trying to teach you guys a simple variation that I know works well, is I'm just going to put my foot on the floor and I'm going to do a hip escape. Okay? So I get into this position. Many people don't want to fall. Why don't they want to fall? They don't want to fall because they're scared of the ground roll. If he falls here, he fears that I'm going to go upside down and start to attack the ground roll, which is not what we're doing. So, in order to avoid falling, once we do our hip escape, he keeps his balance. Okay? Now look what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to hip escape again. And I'm going to hip escape again. I know it seems crazy. Now I'm going to grab his belt. Okay? My left leg is going to come to the far leg. As soon as my left leg comes to the far leg, my left hand is going to follow and grab this pants. This is when we're homeward bound. This is when we're going to be able to get his back or the leg drag or something. Why? Because now Ty can't run away. His defense is to kick his left leg up and over and come back. Exactly. So this buys me a little bit of time. This buys me all the time in the world. He tries to kick his leg now. It's really hard. He's now stuck. Now, what do we do with this leg? If I feel like I can't get behind him yet, I just keep hip escaping. And I use the gi to pull. Now, from this position, I'm going to bring this leg inside. Guys, do you notice how my butt is on the outside of his foot? Over here. I have to make sure that my butt gets in between his legs, like so. That is so important. Okay, now we get here. Our traditional baby bolo attack is to pull the belt down, extend as we sit up. Extend as we sit up. So that his butt falls on the mat, not on me. Then I seatbelt, hook, hook. Right? That's our traditional baby bolo. Let's stand back up. For this variation, the guy is going to be better. We're assuming he's better, so he knows that he has how to defend it. And we're assuming that we don't get his butt on the mat. So again, we have the collar, we have the ankle, we have the de la Riva. Okay? I put my foot on the mat, I do a big hip escape. I hip escape again. I get across. As soon as I feel like I'm across, I grab his pants. Once I grab his pants, I can grab his belt. If I feel like I can just go straight to moving my butt in between his legs, I can use my hook. I put my hook here, and I'm going to extend him a little as I move my butt. Watch. Okay? So that's a little bit more advanced. Once I get into this position, again, normally we want to pull him down, extend, and put his butt on the mat. But in this position, I switch both hands to the belt, I pull him down, and he kind of sits on me. Okay? Why would Ty sit on me? He would sit on me to try to pull my leg through, pull my right leg through, and try to attack my legs. Very, 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 very common defense for the baby bolo. So if Ty sits on me, I'm going to go back to his leg with this hand. I'm going to bring him backwards by grabbing a high grip with this hand. We're going to turn, and I'm going to lift him here and insert this hook. You guys can guess what comes next. Now I'm just going to turn, toes on the mat, and come for the leg drag. So let's go back. So we're standing. Okay, very simple attack. My highest percentage attack from de la Riva. I grab the collar, grab the ankle, I do a big hip escape. As soon as I get across, I grab the pants. As soon as I get across, I grab the pants. If you feel like you can get here, remember, go back. You're going to extend his foot as you come around. So look, like so. Now, Ty's good. He sits on me. He wants knee bars. He wants toe holds. He wants heel hooks. So what do? Grab high as you can on his back. Anything you can grab. Keep control of his pants. And I'm going to flip him this way onto his shoulder and insert an X hook. So look. Okay? And I get to here. This foot just hooks. So all I did was move from here to here. Now look. Right foot off. Start to come up. And we attack the back. So one more time. Let's do this angle again. So boom. If you can't get this because of dexterity or fear of hurting your knee, just keep hip escaping. Now you can move in. He falls on you. That's fine. Grab high. Whatever you can grab, that's high. Extend him here. It's very easy, guys. And we attack the leg drag. I know it may seem difficult initially, but I promise as you drill it, it's very easy. I'm much smaller than most of the people I do this to. You have a lot of strength in your legs. So I definitely urge you to try this. This entry builds the foundation for a lot of the leg drags from bottom. So that's very important to note. Another thing that I want to mention is the reason that I learned this was because I competed against a really good guy who, when I did the baby bolo, sat on me into a saddle position, pulled my leg through, and knee barred me. So you learn the most from your losses. That never happened again because I started to use this leg drag, so it works really, really well. It's very, very difficult to pull somebody's leg through when they have those X-clamp hooks on your leg. So, os guys. All right, guys, so we looked at some leg drag from De La Riva, which was the baby bolo. So now we're going to look at a little bit different entry where we utilize some of those leg entanglements that we used to control in the last volume. So we're here with De La Riva. And look what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to try to start with the collar, but ultimately I want to get to the belt. Okay, this is going to be the sweet grip. Now, if I'm able to get the belt, because remember, we're not going over how we get there. I'm just discussing from the position. I'm going to extend tie just a little bit, and I'm going to start to hip escape really, really hard. Okay, like so. Now, once I get behind, very similar to the baby bolo we just did, I'm going to grab his pants. But look what I'm going to do. Instead of going far, I'm going to bring my knee behind his knee as I scoot back, like so. It's a really good off balance. So I get into this weird position where my right knee is behind the crook of his knee and my left leg is over. So I'm not in the leg drag position. I'm here. Okay? So this is a great way to control somebody that we haven't gone over. Now I'm just going to switch. I'm going to pummel. I'm going to turn to my hip. Come up, and I leg drag. So let's change the angle. So again, we're here and here. I'm able to get the belt. Okay, now look, I'm gonna hip escape. Look, I'm just gonna swing myself all the way. Okay, once I swing over here, I'm in this weird position. Ty's gonna try to run away, he's gonna try to kick. I need to control him. Then I'm gonna pummel underneath, extend, start to come up. And I get my leg drag. So let me break it down just a bit more for you guys. What mechanism is off balancing him is when I'm here in this position. So all I did to get here was get the belt, the ankle, and hip escape. That's all I've done so far. Get the belt, the ankle, and hip escape. Okay? Now all I'm going to do is grab his pants, and I'm going to swing. I'm going to go slow by hip escaping, and my knee is going to come behind his knee, and I'm going to hit his knee to knock him off balance as I pull him down. So hit and pull, like so. Okay, his weight is not on me. His weight's on the mat. Okay, now from here, I'm going to extend, pummel, turn to my hip, lift my hip, and start to attack the leg drag. So although on the surface it seems complex, once you practice that off balance, it's not so bad. It's actually a really good way to off balance your opponent, and it works super well. All right, guys, so we just saw some variations of the leg drag from De La Riva. Now we're going to look at a variation of the leg drag from the reverse De La Riva. So we're going to discuss the Kiss of the Dragon. Now, I know that this move may seem intimidating for a lot of people, as some of the past moves may have, but I encourage you to drill them and try them because they are super, super, super efficient. The Kiss of the Dragon, from my experience when I've taught it, most people come up to me and say, man, I never understood that so easily, because most people assume you have to be able to do a full inversion to do the Kiss of the Dragon. Now, I'm going to blow your mind and tell you right now, you don't have to invert at all. Period. Zero. You don't have to invert. Now, let's look at this. I'll break this one down a bit more than we've been doing because it's a little more advanced. So assuming that Ty squatted a little trying to pass, because the reverse De La Riva happens when my opponent is squatted, maybe even trying to knee cut, right? It has to be a realistic representation. If he's just standing straight up, just stand up and be lazy, then I can't even do reverse De La Riva. At this point, I would just sit up and start to take him down. That's something I always tell my students when you drill. The reason the reverse De La Riva is so popular is because people try to knee cut. Nobody just sits there because they would get taken down. So when people are squatted, the first thing for you guys to think about when you're drilling reverse De La Riva is make sure your partner is doing the right thing. Make sure they're squatted. Now, my right leg is going to hook underneath and behind the crook of his knee. and I'm gonna hook here. This hand is gonna be extremely important. If you notice I'm at an angle, I'm on my hip. Okay, I'm facing in between Ty's legs. So another thing I see a lot of students do is they're way back here. This adds a lot of discomfort on your leg. You have to be super crunched. Okay, now my right hand, you don't even have to hook, by the way. If you just keep your leg here, that's fine. This is the important arm. Okay, since I'm on my right hip, my right arm is gonna go underneath his leg, like this. I want his ankle at the crook of my elbow, like so. Okay, that's why I said you don't even have to hook. Now, rather than going upside down and inverting, like many of us assume we have to, another follow-up that's extremely important is my left hand is going to go palm up behind the crook of his knee. Very important you don't grab like this. Very important you grab this way exactly. I'm not big on specific stuff, but for this technique, you have to be specific. So I'm here with this flex grip. I call it the flex grip because it's like I'm flexing my bicep, and I'm here grabbing his pants. Now, what I'm going to do from this point is I'm going to pull Ty to me. I'm not going to go underneath Ty, okay? Even if I have the capability to invert, I advise you not to. Pull Ty to you. So what do? I just pull. And I just pull. I pull Ty to me. I didn't even move. Now my knee comes behind his knee, and this leg has to pummel. Okay? So if you can't pummel, come back. If he's too close to you, just push him forward a little and then pummel. Okay, now Ty's stuck. He's in a world of hurt. Now, the same concept we use from the baby bowler we're going to use here. Ideally, we would like to grab his belt, and we would like to pull him down and put his butt on the mat. But Ty's experienced, and he knows we've created a dilemma for him. And in this dilemma, he has one option, potentially. Sit on me and try to get that leg lock from the saddle position. So he does this. Exactly. So when he does this, we know what to do. We reach super high on the gi. Whatever we can grab. Now, we bring him to the side. Insert the left leg as the hook. Now we're in this position. We start to turn. We start to come up. And we get the leg drag. So let's go back. So it's zero inversion happening to get that position. Your partner has to be squatted. Your right arm has to come without my leg even here. Like this. Crook of my elbow on his ankle. I have to be on my side. Left hand palm up. Look, I'm just going to pull Ty to me. He's not being nice. He's not helping me. It just works that way. It's very easy. It's good leverage. Now look, pummel. Okay. Switch to the belt. Ty sits on me. He starts to grab my feet. He starts to threaten. I go higher. Extend. Now I'm here in this X-clamp position. Undo my right leg. Start to come up, extend his leg, staple leg drag. So guys, I encourage you to try this. Reverse De La Riva is a super useful guard. This is legitimately the only technique you really need to know from there. Just continue to try to go upside down. A couple things that I want to mention if you're going to try the reverse De La Riva. If you're going to do the reverse De La Riva, be aware, because all we did was one specific technique, that this foot is in danger of a steamer locks. If your gym allows foot locks, toe holds, it's in danger of toe holds. It's in danger of knee bars. So I try to keep my knee relatively low and keep my hand to post more than my foot. Traditionally, reverse De La Riva is taught to push, push, push. I like to be more here with like a shin on shin reverse De La Riva. And then again, we're just pulling him to boom, boom. From here, if he just goes forward, go forward. Then I'm just going to follow and start to come up. Right? So that's why it's one of the only techniques you need to know from there, because there's so much different reactions your opponent's going to give you, all predicated on being able to get to that position. All right, guys, this next technique is going to be doing the leg drag from the deep half guard. I feel like I'd be doing my academy a disservice if I didn't show it from the deep half guard. So I do use it from the deep half, not as often as one of my friends. So shout out to my friend Young, who always leg drags me from the deep half. So I'm here. And I get his leg, or I get into the deep half. Okay, guys, how do I do the leg drag from the deep half? So let's turn this way. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm controlling his leg, his belt, his hip. There's single leg deep half where I'm here, and I'm more on my side. And then there's traditional deep half where I control both, still on my side. Guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pummel this leg underneath. Okay. Now look, I'm going to start to extend Ty. bring my head out. Okay? Now, once I bring my head out, I'm going to bring this X clamp in. Okay? Now, in this position, most guys, this is predicated on my opponent's reaction, are going to try to sit back that way. I know it seems unorthodox, but think about Ty's dilemma right now. He has an option where if he tries to run away, I'm just going to start to climb on top and attack his back. So what does he try to do? He tries to sit back this way. Exactly. And to his dismay, when he sits back, we fall into our leg drag position again. If he doesn't sit back, this is a great way to attack the back. It's so simple. So again, we're here. We're in the deep half, right? I'm on my side. I pummel under. Guys, the hardest part of this whole technique is to lift him so that I can get out. Once I put this X clamp in, notice what I do with this foot hooked. Guys, if he doesn't do anything, I'm just going to get up and I'm going to attack his back. If he sits back, I'm going to use the momentum and I'm going to bring him this way and then I'm going to come up with the leg drag staple. Super simple. Good technique to take the back too.